Stream Elements said the Busy Builder is now live. Streaming miniatures.
Hello. So we're about ready to seal this up. Got to paint the exhaust of the engines at least. Get this plate in here for where the rotor mounts. And there's another reinforcing structure here I want to build real quick. So let's paint the steel on these. Not going to paint the whole engine because I'm probably gluing the engine bay shut. Just painting the amount of the exhaust that may be seen when you peek through the hole in the side of the fuselage. Let that dry, give that another coat. The action feels a bit weird. So it appears a little chromy at first. It's not, it's just steel, and it will be toned down by some washes and other things as we go along. Just trying to get it all on here now. We'll get that cleaned up so it stops blinding the camera too. And for those watching last time, I apologize for the internet dying. Don't know why it happened. I think it was just a local outage. The AMX30 is pretty much done as far as it's going to be for the foreseeable future. I need to look up more information on French vehicles, like in terms of like stowage, how they look overall. And of course I had to pick the one tank which really... I'm fine. It took me a second to understand the acronym speak. I'm old, remember? We're just doing more work on the alien Hind. I want to at least get the fuselage glued together today.
Ed Almanax asks, thank God it's Friday, the busy builder, you okay?
No, I understood what it meant. It just took me a second. Is your family okay? I know the quake was in southern Japan, but it doesn't mean there aren't repercussions anywhere else. Okay. Now let's see where we are. Get the engines glued in up here, and then work on the debris shields that go in front of them on the intakes.
Ed Almanax said, yeah. You said you got it immediately after I pressed send. The delay is just glacial.
I know, that's YouTube. I think the latency issues are a lot less on the Twitch side. If you wanted to sign up over there, that's cool. You don't have to.
Ed Almanax said family is doing fine.
Yeah, I know. Hokkaido's all the way at the north. Still can't help but get concerned when it happens. So, I made the decision to not have the engine bays open, simply because of the fact there's a lot more detail that should be in there that isn't, and I really don't feel like trying to replicate all that. If I wanted to do that, I'd get the 48 scale one by Zvezda. Or I would have hunted down the 48 scale one with the alien decals from Edward, but yeah, like that's ever going to show up on my doorstep. And I'm dreading and looking forward to doing the paint at the same time.
Thanks for asking anyways.
Because it'll be a real test of my old school abilities. Because my idea, I want to look at more. I've got a huge folder of all the pictures from the initial steps of the painting process to the final steps. So I can kind of guesstimate the various colors and where they go.
Almanac said yeah. The delay is much less over here.
Oh, see? You're on Twitch too. Okay. But then as I go along, I've got a white watercolor pencil, so I can start sketching the gross details and then fine-tune it as I go. And the benefit of the watercolor pencil is it can be wiped off, so it doesn't leave anything behind. I mean, could I... You know, no, actually, no, I couldn't, because I don't know.
Almanac said not I can argue with myself.
Lost my brain train. What was I gonna say?
Said no I can.
Yes, now you can argue with yourself.
Almanac said not wait.
But I'm just trying to think of ways that I could possibly take the photos that I've got and translate them into some kind of mask or pattern that I could use to kind of make the task a bit simpler. But I honestly can't think of anything.
Almanac said what's the model in the display?
That is the Gans by... It was re-released by Wave. I think it's originally the Nitto kit from Machining Krieger. Built that years and years and years ago.
Almanac said I like it. Very utilitarian.
Well, it's a Croat lower body mixed with the upper body of a new spotter, with some other pieces all thrown in to kind of make it work together. I almost want to wait till I get this mounted before I put the debris shields on, because I know fitting this around them is going to be a right pain in the ass. It's going to be hard enough getting the engines in because of how they're going to interface with the fuselage. So that can stay there. I'm leaving off the control sticks and stuff like that until after I get everything closed up, because I don't want to risk putting my finger in there and snapping it and all that stuff. Okay, what next for inside? Got the wings together. Got the landing gear bays in. Got the nose gun together. So we got to do some glass. Why does it have me make holes up front for? If it's for the ECM antennas, those actually need to get relocated for what I'm doing. It is, I think. Yeah, so those ECM antennas are going to get moved up. Okay. Alright. So I'm going to make this piece, but not with that little ladder on it, because I'm going to be closing that hatch. Then I'll test fit that, see how much room I've got. I'd like to leave that out till after painting. So G11.
Almanac said I watched the new season of Saga of Tanya the Evil. That anime is criminally underappreciated.
It's pretty good, but I watched the first season, and to me it's got shadows of Overlord, and Overlord got tired real fast, you know? I'm kind of sick of the totally overpowered main characters. Oh yeah, I should be able to just go...
Almanac asks predates the Overlord anime, didn't it?
About the same time, actually. Same overall influence, I think. And to be fair, I'm kind of getting sick of isekai overall. Simply because there's so fucking many of them. I mean, there's not even that many mech animes out there compared to...
Almanac said second season they are facing winter on the Eastern Front.
Yeah, but there's not as many mech anime compared to even that, and... yeah, I'm just kind of getting burnt out on isekai. Okay, I should be able to fit the swash plate in. So, we're going to glue this half in. And stylistically, there's a...
said no. I am also getting bored with the Ice Bound characters.
But the thing about Tanya as well is not too keen to the mashup of the World War I and World War II things. They don't work right to me. But that's me. But hell, I haven't even had time to get caught up on the new Patlabor, so I know it's out there. I just haven't had time to find it and watch it. Well, shit, that was my super glue accelerator. I can get it later. You won't be seeing this, so I'm not going to bother painting it either. It's just there as a bulkhead, really. I am enjoying the new Ghost in the Shell, though. I like the others in the fact that they took the source material but made something new out of it. But I am also appreciating the fact that they are giving the original style and stories their due.
Asks, cutting corners? Shame. How was my rivet counter impression?
About spot on. But for what I'm doing, you're not going to see it, so I'm not going to waste the time, effort, mental energy, or anything else painting it. Now, I'm still debating whether I should make at least one side of the troop compartment open up. And I can really save that till the very, 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 very end, because I have to temporarily install...
Said yes. I find it funny that the newest GITS is also the oldest, both in style and story.
But I can wait till last minute, simply because I need the doors to be temporarily glued so that way they can be painted properly so the pattern matches. Well, it's not so much that it's the oldest, it's the original, it's the base style, you know? It's essentially copying Mamoru Oshii's original... It was Oshii, right? Yeah. His original artwork.
Almanac said it is honest in style and story to the source manga.
I mean, there's little minor changes, but it doesn't change anything, you know? But I just think it's funny that so many people only know the hyper-serious and honestly downright depressing Ghost in the Shell that's been put out since '95 in all the animated formats. Even Standalone Complex, sorry, I got an itch, was kind of depressing. Arise, I won't even talk about how they really did a disservice to the Major in that. It's like every new iteration of her got smaller and smaller. It's like, no.
Almanac said, I think there always have to be some minor changes when switching media.
There do. But, like I've said before, Ghost in the Shell, even after this run is over, right? Say they do the entire original manga, word for word, scene for scene. The nature of the Ghost in the Shell story doesn't mean they have to stop there. They can continue making new stories with those characters. Hence, Standalone Complex and all that stuff. It doesn't mean they don't exist anymore, it just means you can enjoy which one you want. Unlike Battle Angel, for example, that particular story and world is so enclosed that once it's told... Who's here? Hi, Allie. Who did you fight with? did you fight with mittens? Hmm? But once the story in Battle Angel's told, there's really no more stories to tell, because the greater story is so widely sweeping that it wraps up the mysteries of the world that they built.
Elmanoff said, I love the production IG versions, as they introduced me to Ghost. But that lead me to read the manga and understand the creative licenses taken.
Yeah. God, who was it that directed the first one? I've got all of his fucking work. I know he went into pat labor or shit like that. I even got some of his live action stuff, like Red Spectacles, but I can't remember the fucking name. I even have Jinro. I can't remember his name for the life of me, and I used to be able to just spout it off. Or is that who I'm thinking is Oshii? God damn it. Yeah, Oshii is the guy who directed the original Masamune Shiro. Yes.
Elmanoff said Mamoru Oshii for the 1995 anime film, Kenji Kamiyama, for
Yeah.
the standalone complex series.
And it's Shiro's work that I like. I like how his style fit for... Well, obviously it's his work, so it's going to fit. But the same kind of goofiness that's present in Ghost in the Shell now, which should have been there all along, is exactly what was in Appleseed. It's also what was in Tank Police and a bunch of other stuff that he had done. Okay. Where is... There it is.
Elmanoff said, oh. Tank Police.
Yeah, the Erectakaki.
Dildo Mines.
And even that got a second series that followed that original theme, just with a much higher animation budget. But yeah, it got a second OVA. Appleseed tried to condense too much of a much larger story in. And the photorealistic animated ones look okay and do a passable job. But the photorealism kind of removes you from the tone of Shiro's work. Alrighty, let's get through this, shall we? What the fuck was that? Scam callers again?
Almanax asks me or back acting up? Need to move around a set?
No, my phone was... The scam callers... Yeah. No, I'm fine. Just fighting this thing into place isn't the easiest either. Now, knee's acting okay today. No storm fronts moving through yet, but there might be something this evening or tomorrow. I'll be back on again Sunday and Monday at least. That's my next 2 days off. Okay. I'm just going to put some glue on the tabs that I can access for this side. Once we get the fuselage together, I'm going to really tape the hell out of it, so that way I can have that snug in tighter. You see how that gap is there. I won't need to fill it, I just want to make sure everything lines up. Sorry, I keep bumping the microphone with the tail. I really gotta stop dripping all over the desk. That did not sound right either. Locked in on the second pole, and the Schwimmwagen is in the lead overall. Now, the really fun part.
Almanac said there is a new anime called Chainsmoker Cat. The opening goes so hard. Almost every cut, if not every cut, is a reference.
Oh no, I've not watched it, but I know of what you're speaking. Like Train Spotting. You know, yeah. There's references and homages to everything in that.
Almanac said yeah.
Should I have put glue on the tabs first? Just so they could lock in a bit better. Yes, let's do that. Just so I know I have that reassurance. Whoops. You're not going to see that anyway. I know, I make messy. Just don't get drippy on the glass. There we go. And also, another future project, if anyone is interested, will be some of the LV-426 colony vehicles from Aliens. I bought the files from Golden Armor, and I've got a coworker that can do FDM printing. I asked them about printing it out, and they said they'll give it a shot, because I want it full size. I don't want to reduce it by half just to get it to fit on my resin printer. What is causing issue here? There we go. Yeah, we're definitely gonna have to break out the tape. Let's get this in place. I was more concerned about getting most of the fuselage together properly first, and then worrying about this. Oh, fuck. Yeah, I'm gonna wait till Chainsmoker Cat finishing. Yeah, I can't even talk right today. Finishes its run, and then I'll check it out in its entirety. I find it odd that there's a lot of smoking themed anime coming out all of a sudden. You got that, you got smoking behind the supermarket, or smoking behind the convenience store, depending on who talks about it.
Almanac said, did you ever do a Robocop 2 Kane build? I forget, but saw an Adam Savage video with the full-size torso used in the movie, and so wants to build it.
Give me 1 second. You know why that model was built, right? And this isn't mean I haven't watched the Adam Savage video. Horizon was able to do a vinyl kit of Ed 209 too fast, and Phil Tippett did not like that. Because I'm guessing it was unlicensed at the time? So he made it so Kane was so overly complex, they couldn't shit out a model kit too quickly about him. Okay. So yeah, we're just gonna go down the fuselage gluing it. And then we'll get to Kane after I get it all glued together.
Almanac said yeah. They said that. He intentionally made it impossible to copy.
At the time it was, because on screen you could see it, but you couldn't really get a good look at it. And there's a lot of like internal stuff that you couldn't figure out. But in the intervening years, things changed and people were actually able to isolate it and look at it a lot more in depth and closely, and then pictures emerged of the filming model, the miniatures, and it kind of went from there. And I think even before that, was it Kyoto? I forget the company, I think it was Kyoto. They did a vinyl kit of it years and years and years ago, and it wasn't too far off the mark, but I think they also got the license to do it. And I know Good Smile does one now.
Almanac said, and home media also got way better resolution and fidelity.
Yep. This is the part I remember about my first attempt building this kit many moons ago. Was it fit well, but you had to clamp the ever-living shit out of it. And I'm trying to make sure the fuselage halves line up. I'm not too worried about this seam here so much, because these are all panels that open to the outside anyway. If I can close up the seam, that's fine, because it'll allow me to run a scriber back over it and clean it up. But I'll be able to make it look like an actual panel line and not a badly hidden seam on the model. Boing. So we'll let this top half seam dry for a moment. And then I'll come back and we'll start working our way back along here. those lined up, so what's keeping you apart back here? Everything's lining up there. Yeah, I'm probably gonna have to just let this set. And like I said, come back and do the lower half. But I remember I saw RoboCop 2 in theaters. That was fun. And it gets more hate than it deserves. Irvin Kershner did a fine job in that. His form of humor fits very well with Verhoeven's satire. Give me 1 second. I know. Problem is, it's out of production. Just give me 1 second. He's a little dusty. Looks like my jumping spiders made him his home, too. This is one I did a few years back, about 3 or 4 years ago. But this is also about the same size as the stop-motion puppet. I think I did an okay job. Yeah, it was a pretty fun model. Real easy to print. Ow. And I've also done the Good Smile Ed 209. That is a great kit. The only thing I don't like is their plastic is too blue. If you watch the movie, no matter which of the first three, Ed 209 is almost always like an auto primer gray. Even the behind the scenes shots of the full size one, basically primer gray. Quite a few, believe it or not. Like the display cases behind me. The bottom row is mostly plastic figures. The Alien, Cyberpunk, and Ripley are prints. Top shelf is all prints. Yeah. But that shelf right there, that's all plastic kits. That's like the Cygnus, Slave One, the Fine Molds Falcon, things like that. So what is going on here? That's lined up, that's lined up. As far as I can tell, all my internal stuff's lined up. Is it just being really, really stuffy picky? Ah, I see. That popped out. That'll help. Okay. But yeah, you think that's bad, you should look up how much people want for Ed 209 right now. Yeah, mostly resin prints. The Hadley's Hope tractors are going to be done in PLA, but they're going to be done large enough that I can clean them up effectively well. And the guy printing them has his printers dialed in really well. I have an FDM printer. I just do not have the knowledge to do it right. Let's get you there. Well, that glue starts doing its work. I even have a figure of Prince Eugen from Azure Lane that I've got to paint up. Can we stick without flying into the camera again? That is going to be an ugly seam to fix. Unless I can get it to work well now. And, yeah, the guy doing the print for me can get his layer lines for FDM down to 0.02. And that's thinner than what I print at. But there's always some kind of visible layer line on PLA regardless, it seems. Oh, it's almost $100 now? It used to be $50. Jesus, I mean, there's inflation, but good God. And I already have Ed 209. Don't want to get too close to the gun because that's got to move. But I do want to make sure that stays together. Oh, yeah, exchange rate changed, that's right. But there's still people charging $200 for it. And that's even with the reissue. So, I'm glad I've got it now, though. I've had it for a while. Sorry, eye is itching. Just going along and massaging the seam a little bit, trying to level it out. Yeah, the end's doing the best it can. I just really hope I can pull off this paint job. This will not be a quick build by any means, so that's why I'm not making this a priority at all. This is definitely one of those, I'll work on it when I feel like it builds. Hell, I haven't even seen anybody build the Edward edition with the decals to do it. I thought for sure by now somebody would take those decals percentage-wise and scan them up and release them for 35th scale. Ow. No. It won't be 2 weeks. It'll probably take me 2 weeks to paint this patch of the fuselage with the way I want to do this thing. And then even after I paint it, I still need to find the marking decals for the tail numbers and all the specific Czechoslovakian markings that are on it that I can't recreate. I don't have a printer that can print white, because the numbers, the check roundels, and everything else that's on it will be white. Or extremely light gray, depending on who you talk to. I think I've done the best I can to get this seam lined up. Not too terribly. I want to use as little putty as possible. At most, I want to just use Mr. Surfacer. We'll see how that goes. Okay. Get that there. Get some glue in there. glue in there. Alright, that's staying together in the front nice and solid. Again, I don't have the means. A little glue right up here at the front. Again, you got to be careful with this seam. I know most people like to have that little squeeze of glue come out. Like the top, there's actually a panel line right here on the nose. Too many clothespins. But this is about how I remember the fit for the fuselage being the last time I built it. Got a little glue in here, got to keep it moving until that stops fusing. I'm pretty sure something on the inside didn't line up 100%. From what I can see, it all did. But I can't see the tab connectors back here. Alright. Well, it's been an hour already. I mean, you can hear it. All that structure in there. What do we have as far as music? And Frankie's on the nip again. Let's get this on. And I'm also looking at the wings. Their primary color overall is pink. Like pink to maroon. So they'll probably stay off until final assembly. Fuel tanks have face huggers on them. There's probably going to be more brush painting than I realize on this. Just trying to get an idea of what I can put on the outside before I start painting. So I could probably put the ECM, or the ECM on. Once I get the seam, I'll get all the seams patched up and then start working on the outside details. Obviously the antennas can stay off. The nose is going to be really fun to paint. So there's the nose. So that part there is right here. Well, this isn't going to be as much of a test of my skills, more of a magnum opus. Okay, that's not going to bind up on me now. Kind of like Hideo Kojima didn't make another video game after Death Stranding. Nobody would have probably blamed him, because that game felt like a culmination of all of his ideas. Whether people felt they were good or bad, that's up to them, but it definitely felt like a culmination of all of his ideas and interests. Still free. Same thing with the tail planes. We'll leave these off until the end because I know that I just glued that in upside down. Motherfucker. Or did I? I did. You know what though? It's not really that important. I can just cut that little tab off and glue these in straight. As long as there's something back there to back them, that's fine. It would be neat if I could take this to the Nationals, but I am not striving to have it completed to any kind of perfection for that in any way, shape, or form. If I do, it's because I want the paint job to look best sitting on it. But right now I'm just looking at painting it. If anything, I might temporarily install the wings when I go to paint it using liquid mask. That way I can get the body tones to match before I start painting the details. And then that way it'll look more uniform. Because if I do them separately, I could have these be too bright where the body is darker up near them. Same thing with the gear doors. I'll have to install them. And then paint it, because I think this whole area is bluish. Yeah, the main landing gear area is primarily blue in tone. Yeah. It kind of goes blue, and then it fades under the windows, and then down here. And then it carries on in the back under the main landing gear doors. Yeah. Oh, it's 35th scale. Go ahead and take these off so they don't go flying anywhere. Let's get the canopy back in place and hiding. That's going to be fun to paint. Here are the engine panels. As I said, we won't be doing those open, so we can get those on now. It'll let me know how badly I align things with the engines, too. I was going to say there's a "that's what she said" joke in there, but I'm not going to go there. Oh wait, I just did. But once I fully engage on the painting, it will definitely be one of those things where I've got to keep momentum going on it. Construction's one thing. You can always put that down and get back to it. But once you get to the painting, you have to just keep going or else you'll never get back to it. Especially if you find a pattern that works, or a system that works. And then you try and get back to it, and you can't remember what you were doing. Which is a lot of the times my case. Come on, I need you flush. There we go. De-icer. Where are the instructions for that little bugger? Tell me it's one piece. I want to glue that in before. Okay, it's 2 pieces. Good enough. I've seen too much Dragon Ball to remember. I had a roommate in college who owned the entire series up until that time. Like, Cartoon Network hadn't even caught up to where he was. Like, I was seeing Vegeta with a mustache, while other people were already, or were just getting to the beginning of the Cell Saga. That's alright, the glue's probably done its work already. The clips are superfluous at this point. They're more of a hazard than anything. That's gonna be a pain in the ass. Wish I knew what went on there. I didn't watch it religiously or anything like that, but my roommate was always watching it, so I knew what was going on. So if somebody, you know, if they make a joke of something being over 9,000, I can be like Steve Rogers and go, I got that reference. That's about it. But yeah, I've never seen One Piece either. Or what was that other show with the dragons and incest that everybody was going nuts over? Game of Thrones. Never fucking watched that either. It's one of those things you just hear enough people talk about it. You're like, okay, one, I know all about it now. And two, I don't need to watch it because people won't stop talking about it long enough for me to get interested in it. Just like Project Hail Mary was not a groundbreaking film to me like it seems to be for so many other people. Because the aggressive online marketing had shown me 90% of the film before I even sat down to watch it once. I had already seen most of that movie. That's really sad. I wouldn't know. Like I said, I never cared for it. All I know is the tall blonde chick was in Star Wars and never took her helmet off and died a death worse than fucking Boba Fett. So. And yes, I believe Boba Fett still died in the Sarlacc, regardless of what Disney says. Alright, now we're starting to look like something. The medical ship from Firefly. Oh, wait. No. Unless someone's an avid watcher of Firefly, I'm sure that flew right over some heads. There was an episode, I think it was River. They had to get River to a hospital, and they needed a ambulance to get her there to make it not seem illegitimate. And they found one, and it turns out they used an old Mi-24. It's not even JJ, it's anyone involved with what the current things are doing. Because none of them have the skill or ability to make anything new. It's always, let's take what's old and remix it. Strange New Worlds, let's take what's old and remix it. Let's not look ahead, let's constantly look back. And I'm trying to explain that to my friend who's all about this new shit, and I'm like, no, I don't like it. None of it works for me. And it's not, it's not my Star Trek. No, it's just not working. There's too much of the now in it. And yes, Star Trek has always handled current affairs through allegory, but they never smacked you in the face with it. And they treated you with enough respect to allow you as the audience to put these things together on your own. None of the new Trek has done that. The new films, all about vengeance, all about revenge and anger and desperation. All the new series, just, no, they're not right. Even Strange New Worlds. Absolute garbage. Oh, but Pike this and Pike that. I don't give a fuck. Pike's story was explained. If you saw the original pilots and watched the original series, you knew what you needed to know of Pike. I don't need the backstory of every rivet on the hull of the Enterprise. You want to give me something new? Give me a story set on a Miranda-class ship during the era between Star Trek VI and the first episode of Next Generation. There's a complete blank wall of space right there that does not have to rely on anything that came before or after to work. Instead, no, let's ruin Starfleet. You know, let's make them the bad guy. Let's emasculate Picard. You know, a character that spent 7 seasons being built up. You know? Let's just totally tear down and deconstruct everything you liked. Because we don't like it anymore. No. Yeah, he was. And that's why he's the captain in Strange New Worlds, because it predates Kirk. But that's just it. They're trying to give us what they think is new in a new wrapper, but they're smearing the same old shit all over it. And it's like, no, I want new. I want characters I know nothing about. I want a ship I know nothing about. I want a crew I know nothing about. Not a crew that's going to lead into what I already know, but absolutely nothing. That's what made The Next Generation work. That's what made Deep Space Nine, Voyager. People complain about Voyager. It's probably some of the best Trek since the original series. I'll die on that fucking hill. I don't want what I'm watching to grow into what I've already experienced. I want what I'm watching to grow into its own thing and stand on its own. And that cannot happen now. Right. It's a good thing I'm not too worried about gaps on the engine panels because they're there on the on the real thing. I don't even want that because again, it relies on what we know to work. You can disagree all you like, George Davis. It's not going to change my mind.
Almanac said no, they re-released it.
Okay. Wow, why did that stop? I'm going to have to go through this real quick. Yeah, like I said, Voyager is some of the best Trek.
Almanac asks how?
The text-to-speech locked up, so I had to reset it. But yeah, and anything... Star Trek as I know it was finished with Nemesis. And it's the fans who can't let go of the past that are ruining Trek's future. That's the best way I can describe it. It's the fans who need to stay rooted in the past of what Star Trek was, in terms of characters, ships, scenarios, all that are ruining Star Trek's ability to become something more. They're not willing to take that risk and get out of the comfortable. And because of that, we're getting the trash that we're getting now. Well, we have to have Kirk again. Well, we didn't have Kirk from 87 to, what, 92? 93? When Next Gen finally went off the air? You know, we didn't have Kirk in Voyager. We didn't have Kirk in Enterprise or Deep Space Nine. And they turned out okay. Why do we need Kirk now? Why do we need Pike now? Why do we need Spock now? Okay, so we're going to set that aside. There's a lot more little shit to do, like photo etch, things like that. I don't want to do anything more until I'm able to address the seams, get that cleaned up. But while we're waiting, what I can do is build the fuel tanks and everything else I know I'll need to make it look like it does in the pictures. If I have 4 fuel tanks. I'm not going to build the rotor. I'll do that very last. Because I really don't want to deal with snapping it by chance.
Almanac said that was why Mandalorian was so awesome in the beginning. It was original characters and original stories in a small insignificant corner of the universe, far away from established lore. But then it devolved into fan service and references to the movies.
And that's all it's been. And until you can get away from that, you're not going to get anything new. You're not going to get anything fun. It's just going to be non-stop. Let's keep revisiting the past. And I don't mean that in the stupid, Last Jedi, you know, destroy the past. No. The past is there as far as Star Trek.
Said cute plushy advert.
I didn't even know there was an advert going. I'm watching my feed here. What was it for, George? What was I going to say? Having the lore can work to a good benefit. It's when you try and rewrite that lore or disregard that lore too deeply that you begin to ruin what you're doing. Discovery did that. It totally disregarded the lore. It changed so much of Star Trek's past that it almost damaged the franchise. They had to backpedal so far to fix that.
629 said it's called The Mandalorian being an ad for Baby Yoda.
Oh. That's really all it is now. And I'm sorry that I have no interest in anything Star Wars anymore either. And there's probably somebody out there, oh, you're just old and mean and jealous. No. I know what I like, and what I'm seeing now isn't what I like, and from a storytelling perspective, does not work.
Almanac said Voyager was so bad. It lost its identity by episode 5.
It did skew away from that. I felt it kind of got it back when 7 of 9 was introduced. Not because of that character. Because, honestly, that was just fan service up front and center. But you felt more forward motion in the stories again. You know, you felt that the show was getting a direction back.
At George Davis 7629 said they have decades worth of material that is proven to be good and Star Wars fans would love to see.
No, what's worse is, none of the EU for Star Wars was ever called canon. Lucasfilm admitted that right from the beginning back in the 90s. They're stories that exist alongside, but do not affect the greater movie stories. They're just fun. But what's really sad is when Disney took over, before any of their shows, before any of their cartoons or anything like that, right? I think Rebels was just starting, but it hadn't introduced them yet. Disney took over, threw out the original EU, and since then has been raiding the EU's corpse for characters, scenarios, and ideas. Thrawn didn't show up in Rebels until after Disney took over, if I remember correctly. Every new idea they supposedly get, they have gotten from digging through the trash can and resurrecting it from the EU they threw out so haphazardly. Tell me I'm wrong. Every idea that's worked is from something they threw out.
Almanac said they wiped it all as only legends,
Uh-huh.
but keep poaching from it.
Because they don't have anybody with the creative mindset to create something new. And honestly, even The Mandalorian is a sign of that. Yeah, he turned out to be a new character. What if he was originally supposed to be Boba Fett? But they couldn't use it because they didn't know what was going on with him. He was too important, so they decided to make it a new character. Even Obi-Wan. You know what made Obi-Wan so cool as a character after Episode 3, but before Episode 4? We didn't know shit about what happened to him, and it worked better for it. The only thing the Obi-Wan series cleared up is how he knew Vader was more machine than man. That's it. That is the only loophole it closes. Outside of that, it could still not have happened and still worked. They're so desperate for member berries that they don't allow themselves to believe they can do anything more. One show, I mean, I know a lot of people don't like it. I have my own little problems with it, but overall I enjoyed it very well for the idea that it had. Alien Earth. Of all the properties that they've taken and tried something new with, Alien Earth actually works. Does it get a little hokey in some spots? It can. You know, there's stuff you can make fun of in it. But it's never said that it doesn't want to stand on its own.
Almanac said it's not healthy to keep everything bottled up like this TBB.
I'm not keeping everything bottled up. You want to see somebody who really gets off about, or gets on one about New Trek? You thought I was ranting? Solway Studios. If you're not following him, go follow him. He might actually be on now. You start talking to him about New Trek and what they've done with it. Wow. But Alien Earth was surprisingly unique in all of what it did. The only real callbacks to Alien were some of the set design for the ship. Outside of that, it was not afraid to try and stand on its own. And I thought it did quite well. But that's also using Alien Romulus as a more current measuring stick. That relied way too heavily on the member berries. Having the Ash android be in it, having all the callbacks to the previous films from dialogue and things like that, wasn't exactly necessary. And you just like hearing me rant, don't you? That's all it is. You guys just like hearing me rant. The fun part of these is I have to replicate a specific paint job 4 times. And I know all the original ones were hand painted. So there might be some slight variance in and around that. But overall, that's going to be interesting. Oh no, there's a lot of variance. Okay, they got the tails wrapping differently. Cool. That just made it a hell of a lot easier for me. What's funny is this is actually a tiger meat paint scheme. It's got the alien theme, it's got the mouth on the nose, it's got a predator mask on the side of the fuselage. But in amongst all that is a biomechanical, like, cat, panther, tiger kind of thing. So that's also kind of neat. But to wrap up on Trek, the best Star Trek is the Star Trek where it doesn't feel safe. where you can tell they're trying to take a risk. And it's also one where they're not trying to push an agenda.
I am really looking forward to Super Troopers 3. I love those dumb movies.
I'll let my brother be the one to watch those. Yeah, if I want stupid like that, stuff like Simon Pegg's films from the early 2000s were what I liked. Like, I liked Hot Fuzz more than Super Troopers. I really need to find out what colors the Czech Air Force used. Because the fuel tanks are still the same green, they've just been painted over.
At George Davis 7629 said for Star Trek, yeah, it was inclusive, but was not done for the plot or to appease people.
Exactly. It felt organic to it, George. And it didn't make you feel bad for it. If it was part of a story. Which it was. In The Next Generation, there are plenty of stories that addressed specific issues, which have become a larger problem now because of how it's forced. But it handled it in a very tactful manner, which just can't be done anymore. But unfortunately, the writers who were able to give us such well-crafted stories don't exist anymore. They've literally passed away. D.C. Fontana passed away. You know.
Almanac said, oh. There is no comparison. Hot Fuzz is a much better movie both in humor and craftsmanship, but does not stop me also loving Super Troopers for different reasons.
Well, Super Troopers, a lot of the actors I just can't stand as well. Hot Fuzz, though, I feel didn't do as well in the US because of the fact that, like, Shaun of the Dead, yeah, it was a British movie, but it wasn't too British. Like, Hot Fuzz, unless you've lived in England, you wouldn't understand the big deal about the swan and how only the cops can really do anything about it and why nobody else is handling it. Here in the US, oh, there's a swan on the loose. Great, I'll just go grab it and put it back where it belongs. Can't do that over there. So that joke went over a lot of audiences' heads. You know, there's a lot of jokes in Hot Fuzz that, unless you've lived over there or know about it, they just go right over your head. I'm gonna have to take a stand-up break here in a sec. Let me get this last fuel tank assembled.
At George Davis 7629 said, yeah, a fighter pilot once hit a swan at an air show.
Bingo, George.
An apology to the Queen.
It's because all the swans belong to the Queen and civilians are not able to touch them. Yet the police can because they work in service of the Queen. Supposedly. Well, not anymore. Now it'd be the king. But the swans belong to the monarchy, for those who don't know.
Almanac said strange how a British movie depicts British culture and situations, and does not force itself to work for Americans.
Oh, funny that, eh? Yeah. But as an American, I appreciated it more because I had lived over there. So I got the jokes more, you know, I understood the intention behind them. I think the equivalent joke in that would be in, like, Shaun of the Dead, when they're talking about the Winchester at the pub being deactivated. Turns out it wasn't, which is highly illegal over there. Or the farmer needing the other farmer to translate for him in Hot Fuzz. Did Ares just message me? Yeah, he did. Sorry, just messaging in a moderator. Nothing going on, just he got home from work. But that's also what made Simon Pegg's films work so much, is that they weren't watered down. They were made for their audience, and that was it. If anything, I'd say that...
Almanac said, well, go to Florida. You could do that joke in a trailer park there.
But, I grew up in Florida, so yeah. But, like... World's End, I think, was the most Americanized film in terms of, like, what it did. There wasn't a lot of British colloquialism and jokes that flew over the heads of the audience. And at the same time, I think World's End was one of their weaker films, too. I think I still have to build the bomb racks, which I'm leaving off for painting. That's right. Okay. What else can we do? Already got that done. I can't put the infrared jammer on until I've got the seams taken care of.
Almanacs asks, weren't the Cornetto trilogy Edgar Wright films?
They were. And there's some that loosely consider Paul to be one of them because it was still Simon Pegg and Nick Frost. But Cornetto's not in it. So, until I can do the seams on this, we have reached an impasse. So I'm going to take a stand-up break, and as I do that, we're going to... Yeah, I'm going to take a stand-up break and pick out something else to tinker on for at least another hour. It's been almost 2. And hopefully the internet doesn't die this time like it did last time. So... But we've made, actually, some pretty good progress. Yeah, once I get the seam taken care of, I'll temporarily mount all the doors that I can. And then, yeah, it'll be on to figuring out the paint. Dun dun dun. Hey Aries, so just give me a few minutes. I am going to put the pause screen up, clear the desk of this. We might work on a Freightliner or something. I don't know. So I'll be right back. All right, we're back. had a bit of a bio break, so we're actually going to work on this little bugger. There's not a lot left to it. I want to see if I can get it done. And there's the track. Yeah, that's not enough. That's an extra bit. What's this in here? This is nothing! Anyway. Give me a second to find out where I was, what I was doing, and how I was doing it, and we'll get back to it. Okay, I've got this on, got that on. Got that on. Just taking a minute to get caught up on what I was doing with this. Alright, not doing these yet. I don't want to keep knocking them off when I try and put the tracks on. Yep, so we're on this page. Get my photo etch parts. Come here. Come here. There we go. I hope everybody else starts to have a good weekend. Like I said, I won't be back on here till Sunday. So Sunday and Monday will be my next streaming days. After today. And then for a little while it's going to be Sunday, Monday mainly. This will be my last Friday for a while. But that's fine. Okay. Excuse me. There's one. AFV Club always uses the smallest, thinnest photo etch. But depending on how I feel tomorrow, I might do a small stream when I get home. We'll go over the poll and its results. But right now, it looks like the Schwimmwagen is still in the lead, unless things change. Then after that, I think it's a tie between A-Team Van and the anti-aircraft gun and the initial Tiger. Excuse me. Tiger's going to be an interesting build on its own regardless. It was pretty straightforward, but the biggest hurdle on it is the tracks, because it's one of the first 9 produced where the tracks were actually handed left and right. After that, they realized it didn't matter, so they didn't care. But these particular ones had that, and the kit tracks are made for that. C36. Don't believe this is that sprue, but oh, excuse me, good. Oh my god. Ah. Trying to remember which sprues were which. AFE Club always letters them differently.
Asks, did the internet decide it was time to stop?
No, I'm still here.
Era Studios said hi. Era Studios just redeemed free hugs.
Wow, there are some dropped frames though, so there was something going on. Huh, interesting. Good thing there was nothing important. Excuse me.
Era Studios said it's really behind.
Yeah, there is some lag, isn't there?
Era Studios said took that like 10 minutes to post.
Yeah, there was something going on where I had some dropped frames.
Almanac said just died for me on Twitch, but works after a reboot.
Weird. My connection here looks fine for now. Last time, though, it just dropped and went dead. Like, I had no internet, period. Even my phone wouldn't work. But it looks like something went stupid here because I got like 2,000 dropped frames.
At Almanac said test. Almanac said test. The busy builder said yes, I can see you.
Weird. It reset that too. Interesting. Huh.
Era Studios said it's lagging on my end. The busy builder said yes, I can see.
Now it's gonna type on YouTube.
At the busy builder 71 said yes, I can see.
I don't know why it's being so stupid lately.
Almanac said yeah, lag is just as bad on Twitch as YouTube now.
Well, I can always start or stop and restart the stream if you want. Just creates a... I think on Twitch it might pick up, but on YouTube it creates a new stream. Outside of that, I don't know what I could do. But I'm going to test something over the next 2 weeks that might answer some questions too. And then I'll have to sit down and have a nice long talk with my son.
Stream Elements said check out my previous work on my Instagram app. Almanac said not if just for me. I'm off for bed soon. Very AM here.
No worries.
Era Studios said oh.
Uh-oh. What are you uh-ohing about?
Stream Elements said check out my YouTube page at.
What are you uh-ohing about? I don't like it when he uh-ohs.
Era Studios said son talk.
Well, just whenever he's here, when he's not at college, he has like 30 devices going, all of which are connected to the internet. One of which he's using. You know, because the TISM must have all devices under control at all times. I had to unplug my PS5 so he'd stop sneaking into my room to use it. I'm like, well, what's wrong with yours? Apparently he broke it. He doesn't take care of his own shit. So, no, he doesn't get to use mine. But I think his habits are what's causing the dropouts at specific times of day.
Era Studios said how is his school going? Hopefully good.
Yeah, but schooling doesn't get work ethic. And right now, he's not trying very hard to get employed, which is not making me happy. think I've got pictures for this. Yep.
At George Davis 7629 said, "Damn, I was exactly the same." Era Studios said off.
Well, our biggest worry
At
is he's
George
got a
Davis
cousin exactly like
7629
that.
said he's up for a rough ride.
Oh yeah. And my ability to help is severely limited by his attitude. But at the same time, he's got a cousin who's worse than him. Just wants to sit around and smoke dope all day up in Washington. I'm not going to let that happen. I've even told the wife, and she agrees, that any sign of that shit going on, goodbye. Because right now is when he really needs to be working. It doesn't matter if it's flipping burgers, packing fries, or bagging groceries. He needs that work history established so any future employers, because he's going to college for automotive, any future employers will see that he is reliable. Doesn't matter what he's doing.
Almanac said the talk where the son admits to being gay, smokes pot, is a contentious objector, a college dropout to chase a career in potato prints, and a vegan. And TBB will have to disown him. All the other stuff is okay, but vegan is a bridge too far.
You're actually right about on the nose with that. Maybe minus the potato
Almanac
prints.
said, "Just a joke, in case it wasn't clear." At George Davis 7629 said, "Yeah, I was damn lucky. I had co-workers who were supporting and patient as I got to grips with full-time work."
I gotta wonder how he'd do in the military. He'd probably excel, if anything. If the world keeps going the way it is, we might find that answer out quicker than we think. But no, Ominox, I understood the joke. But you're right when it comes to the veganism and the potato prints.
Almanac asks, "How can you tell if a person is vegan?"
They have no mass. They're just empty husks. I'm trying to get some more music back up.
Almanac said, "You don't have to. Wait 5 seconds, and they
They'll
will
tell you. Yep. I know that one. Along with their CrossFit, their Subaru. Oh, am I making generalizations? Am I going to lose 2 more subscribers this week?
Era Studios said they will tell ya."
And I'm sorry, and I don't mean to sound petty or anything by this, but I have actually stopped following people because, like, you see on here, all my videos are about what? Model building. Even my streams. We'll talk about different things in the streams, but they're all about model building, right? When your feed becomes nothing but anything but what I originally followed you for, like if it suddenly switches to all political shit or all ideological shit, sorry, I'm gone, because that's not what originally interested me in what you were doing. And there's quite a few people out there that I have just, you know, cut ties and said, you know what, fuck it, I don't have energy for this. because they've gone from being model builders or figure painters or whatever else and gone totally over the edge into ideology. And that's honestly a shame, because if I followed them, I thought it was because they did good work. But they stopped producing that work and just start producing diatribes on how everybody's a National Socialist, or everybody's this, or everybody's that. And it's like, you know what? You have fun in your little world. I'll see you later. I might not say stuff that everybody agrees with, but I know that I'm true to myself. Yeah. Like, I got a coworker who keeps trying to talk to me about Warhammer. And I had to look at him straight up and say, I'm not interested in Warhammer anymore. I looked at all the bullshit that's been going on in it for the past few years and decided it is not worth my time, energy, effort, or mental capacity to figure out what a corporation who doesn't even know who the fuck I am is trying to do with itself. It means nothing to me. And he just can't get it. You know, I haven't played the game since 2009. And it's like, dude, I'm not into it. I don't care. Okay, so these go right here. No, I don't need my coworkers to share my hobbies. That's... no. And that's not to be disparaging, but it's my hobby, you know? We can all share the same hobby on here because it's something to talk about. But the way this is going, no. I don't want this at work. Like, it was different when it was me and Aries over in England. You know? Which way is up on these? Doesn't really tell me. But with this individual, no, I'm not. No. Like, he tried telling me about the A10 and how, oh, it's a plane designed around a gun. I'm like, no, it isn't. He tried arguing with me. I let him say his thing. A10 was designed and in flight, I think, by 69? 70? The GAU 8 Avenger program didn't even exist until after the A10 had officially entered service. The A10 was actually originally armed with a 20mm. It didn't last for very long. Once the GAU 8 was developed, they changed it out. But no, the A10 was not specifically designed to carry the GAU 8. It was specifically redesigned to carry it, but initially it was not. I bet you $5 there's somebody out there right now going to Google to find out if I'm right. about to say, don't tell me we're dropping frames again. We're not. Okay. There we go. There we go. All right. Oh, nope. Shit. I forgot to put this on first. Whoopsie! I might be able to do this. The only locating holes are right here. I just need to get this over a little tab that's in there. And done. I made that more difficult for myself. So what do y'all got planned for the weekend? just looking at something for this.
The busy builder just redeemed free house.
I can see what you guys mean about that lag. Interesting. I don't know what to do about that. It's got to be something to do with my connection. Got those done, those done. I need to do these still. Okay, this is going to be interesting.
Almanac said didn't die on you. Just reminded you who's in charge.
Like that scene in Dark Knight Rises. Gave you a lot of money. You think that gives you power over me? Eek. Trying to fold tiny photo etch. I hate folding tiny photo etch. I'm gonna get these mounted on the model first. That was lucky. And then I'll worry about putting the little rubber bump stops on top of them. And these bump stops are just for this hatch here, but I glued it down anyway. There's nothing inside of it. I mean, it would be neat if I had another M113 to rob the interior out of, but it's not the exact same layout, so I wouldn't be able to transfer much over anyway. This is the YPR used in the Netherlands. This particular one's in the Netherlands anyway. And I'm not being accurate with it. For the one I'm making, I should have shaved off these. I don't care. Minimum effort. Fuck! I saw it glitter as it went over my shoulder. Where'd you land? Gonna pause. I gotta have my ass in the air for a minute. Alright, back. We found it. Now if I can just keep from having a ping fuck again. Wrong side. Alright, that works. Sprue D. Here it is. This will be easier to handle if I'm not fighting the rest of the tree. So if anyone else ever builds this, you've got D7 and D8. It says D8 on both the front here and on these. D8 goes on the front because there's no hole. D7 has a little nub on the back. That goes on these because there's a hole. And again, they're plastic, but they're supposed to represent the little bump stops. So when this waiting float is flipped forward, this bump stop will hit right around here and keep it from damaging the hull. Come on. Don't stick to me, stick to the model.
Almanac said, okay, gotta go to sleep.
Alright, have a good night.
Form coherent sentences.
Wait, we're supposed to be coherent? Why did nobody tell me that? You have a good night. Need a pencil. So, done that, done that, done that, done that, done that, done that. I need D10. The exhaust. We'll probably be on for about another 20 minutes. Unless we get the very rare raid or something, then we'll might stay on longer. I don't know. But so far, it looks like everybody who's taken the poll on YouTube wants to see the Schwimmwagen done next. So looks like that's what we're going to be doing. Unless there's a shift overnight. I'll wait till tomorrow evening when I get off work to do the final decision. Should I drill out these headlights or not? Nah, we're just going to stay stock with this. I don't see any sinkholes in them, so they're good to go. If I run into them on the Academy M113, I'll drill them out.
Trust is this expensive. I learned that at 15. Now I charge my word. Frozen on my neck. Imagine how I operate. Clinical with every step.
All right.
Mistakes, no witnesses. Stay off a double two stop. I just let
Really?
them finish. This is my soul memory now. Breathing in and breathing out.
Looks like tweezers are not my friend today. Go. Done, done. Done, done. Done, done, done. Done, 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 done. Oh, wait. And it's out of lead. Hi, Mittens. Okay, what am I looking at here? Okay, it's the base plate for the smoke dischargers. Up, up, up. Okay, it looks like it sits just on the inside here. Good boy.
Era Studios asks, M113?
Close. YPR. It's a European APC based on the M113 chassis.
Era Studios said, oh.
See, your comment there matched up, so either you fixed the lag or something else happened. God damn it, god damn it, god damn it, god damn it, god damn it. Fucking thing.
Era Studios said hate when the superglue don't want to glue.
Well, it's not that the super glue didn't want to glue. It glued, and then it didn't glue, and then it re-glued, and then it wouldn't allow me to slide the part back to where it was supposed to go. D6 times 2. C14.
Era Studios said can't wait till you start the M113. It was a fun build.
Well, right now the Schwimmwagen is in the lead. And I think the 113 is tied with the A-Team van. Let me look real quick.
Plastic Alchemist said evening.
Hey, Plastic Alchemist. How you doing? So, in the poll so far... In the first part of the poll, the A-Team van is now at 50% of that poll. So it's got 3 votes. And the Schwimmwagen is at 40% of the other poll. So out of 20 votes, it's got about 10. No, just under 10, while the rest are less. So right now the Schwimmwagen is in the lead with the A-Team van and the 113 pulling about even. So it looks like Sunday we'll be working on that again. So far, it could change.
Stream Elements said check out my previous work on my Instagram app.
Or did I just give too many subjects for people to choose from? Stream Elements said check out my YouTube page at. It's been a while since Stream Elements did that. Okay, there's that. And there's something weird going on with the YouTube side anyway. I don't know if they're just cleaning accounts or something, but just seeing some weird fluctuations over there again. Okay, that's where the turn signals go.
Plastic Alchemist said doing well. Hope you two are well.
I'm doing alright. Finally hit 25 for the 25th time, so there's that, but outside of that, we're doing alright. According to Aries Studios, I'm old now. But if that's the case, he is too.
Aries Studios said you're old. I'm just hitting my prime.
Uh-huh. Sure. No, we can screw the tweezers for now, because they're just causing me too much BS. Get seated in there, you little bugger. Shame to paint over the brass, but you gotta. D6 times 2. So I tried watching Return to Silent Hill again the other day, just to see if maybe on the smaller screen it would hit different. Because on the big screen that was That shit was tough to watch. Nope. It was actually harder to watch. I'm amazed that movie did not come with a seizure warning before it.
Era Studios said why.
It felt like you were watching a video game cutscene in the theater, just because of how it was filmed. And I mean, why did I try watching it again, or why did it not work? I don't... Context, please. Just to see if maybe there was something I didn't get the first time around, and yeah, it was just... no. I'll just play the original Silent Hill 2.
Era Studios said why didn't it work?
The original, because it's essentially, the movie is based off of the Silent Hill 2 game. In the game, there was no cult. It was basically crime and punishment for the character you're playing as. They still tried to shoehorn the cult from the first game into the film somehow. Or a cult. I shouldn't say the same cult. But to give... to give reason for why his wife was sick and all this other stuff, they couldn't just have her be sick like it was in the game, and then have the story be told about how James murdered her to put her out of her misery, you know? It's kind of a mercy killing, but that he was still feeling grief for. They had those points in the film, but they were watered down and made pointless because of how they handled it. Then add to the fact that they just completely... They fucked it up by trying to make Laura, Maria, and Lisa, I think her name is, the weird chick with the knife that had major daddy issues, in that her daddy molested her. They tried to culminate all those as one person, which that was not the case in the game. They tried to have everything relate to one another when they didn't need to. And even though the game's been remade, the original is still the best. And then outside of that, it was just visually jarring. At times it felt alright, you know, and then other times it felt like you were watching a video game cutscene, and then other times it felt like you were just watching green screen. It's like it jumped around way too much. It barely paid lip service to the game it was based on. Without watching it yourself, that's the best critique I could give of it. But I do not recommend it. How's that? Which is a shame because I was hoping. Phantoms with Ben Affleck did a better job of recreating the Silent Hill atmosphere than the 3 movies did. That's really sad. Okay. Dun 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 dun. Next page of nonsense. But I'm gonna get these smoke grenade launchers glued on and then call it a day. I got some stuff like laundry and stuff to do before work tomorrow. But then we'll be off for 2 days. And we'll see what streaming trouble we can get up to on Sunday and Monday. Part of me wishes I could do like 2 days without sleep like I used to. That'd be a fun stream. Come on, clean up. You go like that. Yep. Okay. Yeah, look at that. They line up with the gaps. So you got the 2 gaps there, and then the notches in the end. And that lines up with these.
At George Davis 7629 said, how's the build going?
It's going alright. Typical AFV club. Sometimes the little bits are the little shits. I remember when their M35 series first came out back in the late 80s, early 90s. And I was marveling over the small hood latch hold downs. I look at it now and I'm like, wow, that's bullshit. This kid is from that era.
At George Davis 7629 said FB 4005 go BRRR.
Oh, the French are about to have another running Tiger. There's video footage of their late Tiger 1 chassis running.
At George Davis 7629 said that has a LOL of fiddly bits.
Oh, yes it does.
Something that bleeds. My mouth is a weapon.
But I think we will call it a stream for now, though, because it's been 3 hours. Like I said, I've got some adulting to do.
You thought love was scifi, but I've been weaponized.
That and I'm hungry.
To kiss with fangs retract.
At George Davis 7629 said that'll be nice.
And then I think it's...
Era Studio said boom, adulting.
I know, adulting sucks. So the French have their Tiger 1 coming up. Was the Netherlands? No. Who's restoring the other King Tiger besides Bovington? There's another one. They're doing the standard King Tiger. That's almost back together and running. Bovington's gonna have their one of their King Tigers running, so pretty soon.
At George Davis 7629 said alrighty, catch you next time, been a good stream.
Yeah, I try. Yeah, be back Sunday. Don't know exactly when on Sunday, but we'll be back then. So thanks everybody for watching. Glad it didn't drop out too badly on us. And